All the hard work and support that we have provided for our candidate, the candidate of People's Democratic Party, Eyita Ejegede, SAN, who will help us reclaim Ondo, comes down to one date, and that is Saturday, 10/10/2020. However, it has come to our notice that the people of Ondo State will not be getting free and fair elections if the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, as presently composed, will be overseeing the elections in Ondo State. We're speaking in particular about the appointment of Professor Eyitope Ogunbodede, the Vice Chancellor of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, as the Chief Returning Officer of the Ondo State governorship election. The PDP totally rejects Professor Eyitope Ogunbodede acting as the Chief Returning Officer. The reasons are very clear. He is a known crony of the current governor of Ondo State, who is also the candidate of APC, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, SAN. He hails from Owo, the same hometown as the candidate of APC. So it cannot be a fair party in the proceedings by virtue of their association. We also want to state that Professor A.S. Bamire, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, who conducted the training of returning officers, is not a neutral party for the purposes of this election. So we therefore call on INEC to stay true to their name and replace Professor Eyitope Ogunbodede with a disinterested party. The Chief Returning Officer should have no affiliations with any of the participating parties in the elections. We also take this opportunity to call on all lovers of democracy around the world to pay attention to what the APC-led administration in the center is trying to do in Ondo State. We call on the United Nations, the European Union, the United States, and the United Kingdom, and indeed all allies of democracy, to call INEC to order. We're compiling the names of people involved in there, and I believe they will be, those people will be good candidates, for the visa ban. Because if they try to rig this election and they stay here with us, then we will reach out to them after the election to either say thank you or show them what it is if you allow yourselves to be used, to deny the people of Ondo State a free will to choose their leader. Well, we call on all security agencies in Ondo State also not to allow themselves to be used as a tool against the will of the people. So far, they have done very well. So we take this opportunity to commend them for what they have done so far. But we still have a long way to go. They've done far, but until we see to the end of this process and a governor-elect is declared, it is going to be eternal vigilance for us. So we urge the security agencies to still do more. Please don't forget that history and posterity have never been kind to anyone who allowed themselves to be used as a tool for injustice. We urge our security agencies to read the mood of the people and act accordingly. Well, politicians, I'm one, will come and go. but the people will always remain, and our state and our country will remain. And everyone should remember the world is watching us. So I thank you all for listening. And if you have any questions, I will take it. If there are no questions, then this will be it.
I forgot to introduce the members of the campaign council that has attended His Excellency. We have Chief Erewa, Prince Erewa, and we have distinguished Senator Dino Menaye. We have the National Organizing Secretary, Colonel Austin Akobumi. We have the National Financial Secretary and Secretary of the Campaign Council, Honorable Abdullahi Basira. We have the National Woman Leader, Hadia Waziri. We have, I'm also a member of the Campaign Council.
Yeah, Senator Ose Agbola. Yeah.
So if you have any questions, I will take them on. Let's have a question.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. My question is in two parts. The first thing that you raised a big question on. Okay. You raised a big question as to the integrity of the returning officer. For those of us who follow elections and election coverage, one would wonder what's the role of a chief returning officer who would not have anything to do with the result until they lay before him at the moment of announcement. What exactly is your fear or concern as to the chief returning officer, not the collation officer, not the electoral officer at the local government areas? It does look like you're raising a big question on integrity. You've praised the security operatives, but it does mean that you seem to have a problem with INEC. Is there a major problem with the integrity of INEC in this election?
Well, there are further information. For instance, we do know that Governor Akeredolu is from Owo. Governor Akeredolu is from Owo. Why do you need a chief returning officer who is also from Owo and who is a known crony of Governor Akeredolu? And my other question is, are there no other universities in Nigeria where you can get somebody that is disinterested, who does not have a vested interest in this process? So INEC should go ahead and look for someone else. He may not do anything, but know that once the chief returning officer makes a pronouncement, then the next thing is you have to go to a tribunal. We don't want to go to a tribunal. We don't want the people of Ondo State to be cheated. That's why we're saying to INEC that please go ahead and look for a returning officer that is neutral, that does not have any affiliation whatsoever with any of the candidates.
So, Your Excellency, the second part I was going to raise, the fact that how did you know who the chief returning officer is? Officially, INEC has not announced it. Then secondly, you said he's a crony of the governor. What do you term crony? Because if I'm from the same town or local government area with somebody, does that taint my integrity to do my job professionally?
Okay, well, I studied biology in secondary school. For biology practical, once they start telling students to bring tomato to school, or bring lizard, or bring anything, you know the questions that will come out in that practical exam. So INEC have been training the people that they will use. And Professor Bamire, the deputy VC, has been the one conducting the training. We don't mind, but we don't want people that will go out there and just make pronouncements and then they will say the rest is go to the tribunal. No, we will not accept it. We don't want the people of Ondo State to be cheated in this election. And then if you say somebody is a crony, yeah, it's not only that they are from the same town. The technical advisor to the INEC chairman, Professor Bolade Enyila, we know that his wife has a relationship with Professor Gumbodede. So all we're saying is, please decouple all of these things. We're watching, and we will say to the world, you know, the way it is.
Excellency, beyond this press conference, have you written to INEC to raise these concerns?
Well, we are writing to them, but this is the fastest means, you know, because INEC chairman will also be watching. The entire world also will be watching. AIT is worldwide. Channels is worldwide. So the entire world is watching as we're speaking right now. So if they are waiting for official letter, we're running out of time. By this time tonight, that will be the end of campaigns. And then by this time tomorrow, there will be no movement. The process will have been underway. So we don't have that time to keep sending letters to Abuja waiting for a response. We will write officially, but at this stage, they need to address our concerns.
Femi Akonde from TVC News. Sir, these allegations around cast aspersion on the integrity of the returning officer.
It's not an allegation. I mean, for what we're saying is, Nigeria has, I mean, how many professors? How many universities? Why do you have to go to somebody that is known to have been from Owo, the same hometown as the candidate of APC?
Okay, my question now is that, are you not worried that it might take a toll on the psyche of the voters? Because coming from you, from the campaign council, people might just say, what's the need of going to cast their vote? Because even reports now show that why we have a decline in the number of people coming out to vote is because of this kind of accusations and counter-accusations from politicians and political parties during elections. So people no longer trust the process. They no longer trust these institutions. Are you not worried that it will take a toll on the psyche of voters?
Well, I don't think it will take a toll. All we're saying is INEC should do what is right. And once they do what is right and the people can see it, it will even encourage them to come out and vote. It will have a positive impact on the psyche of the people.
Thank you. No more questions. I'd just like to thank you all for coming and also introduce a member of the campaign council, Chief Mrs.
Adedibu.
Well, thank you very
This is why you need to come to Ibadan.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If there's any other thing we'll see outside.
Thank you so much. Well, we'll be talking to yourselves.